All right, hi you guys. I'm back. It's March 30th. No, today's March 31st, and I just got finished working, and um, I just wanted to update you guys. Well, first of all, give you all the details so far for this. At least first video. I know it's probably gonna take way more than one, but right now, um, I don't have any makeup or anything like that. I'm not putting anything on right now. I'm getting ready to probably leave the house and just try to get like my mind on something else, but it just seems inevitable that I can do that. So I figured let me just make a video because I've been promising that I'm gonna do it. On um this past Saturday, my ex fiance left, and that's after I we had like I couldn't take it anymore, and I just I made the decision. Now, warning, I may start crying in this video because I'm very, very, very upset. Um, so if I do, I'll pause it. But um, so we he made excuse me. I made the decision to break it off with him because we've been together for almost 4 years, and it's really been like a it's one of those relationships where you shouldn't like engage with a person. It's not the person that you should be with in a relationship or whatever. I did go ahead and give him a chance, and then like it was literally a nightmare. The whole relationship pretty much was terrible. Whenever I first meet a person, I haven't had like a whole huge amount of different relationships, but um I've had a few significant ones, and this was definitely one of those ones. But what I always do is ask a person, or what I've always done is ask a person if they're an alcoholic, if they drink, if they do any drugs. Those are like one of my main first set of questions. And I did do that with him, and his answer was no. Well, I drank once in a while, like once or twice a year, which is what I used to do. Like maybe once every few years, I would have a drink, like a family celebration or whatever, or a holiday, whatever, things like that. That's what my drinking was very, very, very rare when it came to like how many times a year I drink or whatever. So I asked him the same question. He gave me that answer that no, it's once in a while. And then I asked him if he does any drugs. He said no. At this time, at that time, um, he was all right. So at this time, um, he said that he didn't. No, this is the thing. And if I'm going all over the place or if I'm rambling, I don't know. I'm sorry, but this is like I'm trying to give you like the whole from the beginning how everything started and whatever happened. So he had told me that he was on parole. He and I just explained to him like it really didn't matter to me as long as it's not like where he violated someone like sexually or anything like that, um, or did anything extreme like that. I didn't really care. I mean, not like judgmentally wise, I didn't think because people do drugs or they've not do drugs, sell drugs or whatever. Sometimes I don't know, just different things that really to me aren't the end of the world. And that was the case with him. So I didn't care about that because I don't judge people that way. Everyone has the ability to change and whatever. So, um, he also does not or did not have a. He didn't even graduate from high school, so it didn't really bother me. I mean, my dad is, he didn't. Some people don't graduate. You have like celebrities that don't even have a GED. They didn't graduate from high school. I mean, it's not like a no. That's not like a big deal breaker for me. Like I don't care about that thing. My thing is if you have intentions and if you care about making the future better. So, he just told me the truth off the bat. So I was just like, okay. I know it kind of probably might draw some people, like, like some people probably saying, well, you could get better than that, or you, like, they would never entertain it. But for me, I'm not like that. I'm not a judgmental person. I have a very big heart. I am very caring and very loyal and faithful. And I am very empathetic, extremely empathetic. I do care about everyone. And I just wanted to help however I could help. So I just told him, like, it's now for me, I am educated, I am college educated, I do hold down a job. Um, I started working before I went to college and worked, obviously after school, and I worked in a pharmacy, and then now I work for a part of my state. But to me, it's not about like what you have and whatever. It's not about that. Excuse me. It's not about what you physically have, like your tangible things. To me, it's about in here what you have and in here what you have. And not like, in an educational sense. It's just in your heart and like the way you think. So for me, I just said, and he was telling me in the beginning that he wanted to get to a point where he could change his life around. He was at a point where he wanted to do that. So I told him, I mean, I can help you with, the things that you want help with. Like you want to get your high school diploma or your GED, not high school diploma, but your GED. You want to get a job. I mean, I can help you with things like that. And um, whatever. So, you know, we talked for a long time, like a month or so, and then, we ended up pretty quickly dating as boyfriend and girlfriend. And then throughout the course of like in the very freaking beginning, in like, I think we started dating actually in the month of October or September, I don't know, that year, but we one time, so he didn't live, obviously he lived like an hour away from me of a drive. He didn't have a car either. So what I would do is just go down there and pick him up, and so it was 2 ways. I mean, 2 hours back and forth to pick him up. He'd usually come on the weekends or sometimes during the week and stay for the whole weekend or like throughout the week or whatever eventually. Um, and one day he told me to call him. It was a Halloween day. That's probably why I remember the date. Now, what I did is I decided, mm, because he asked me to call him that day, I told him I would call him when I get finished with work because my schedule 8 to 4:30, and I had to call him when I got done. So, excuse me. I called him when I got done working to talk. And hold on one second. I'm gonna sit. So I called him to talk, and like he asked me to, and then he was like, he he sounded a lot different. He sounded like he goes, I was like, hi babe, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. And he said to me, I don't it was really freaking it was I felt like it was like a what he said was, I don't why the fuck excuse me, but why the F you calling me? Um like why do you keep calling me? He said something like that, like it's he goes, it's I don't wanna be it's what did he say? I gotta think of what he said. He said something like I don't wanna be um I don't want to answer to anybody. I don't know, something like that. I don't want to answer to somebody, or I don't know. It was something along those lines. I don't remember the exact words, but I was like, what? Like, you asked me to call you when I get done with work, and I was just calling you, like, to talk, like normal, like we normally do. Normally, the conversations lasted for like a long period of time, hour and hours, and it was just like a regular conversation. This case, that night, and then I was like, wait, are you drinking or something? I could hear like people in the background. I could hear just, it sounded like he was outside, like like out roaming the streets or something like that. Like not roaming, but like hanging outside somewhere. And I asked him, are you drinking? And he was like, goes, oh, I'm not drinking. I was like, I can tell your voice sounds way different. You sound like you're drunk. And you're talking to me really rude and disrespectfully for no reason. And then he goes, oh yeah, I'm drinking. I had a few fucking drinks. Um, it's Halloween. I'm celebrating the holiday. And I was like, what? Halloween? Okay. So I was really pissed off. I was really upset. And my stomach, I remember getting like knots in my stomach, like the bad ones, like the ones where you feel like, wow, like you feel like horrible. Got those knots in my stomach, and I was like, why? I was like, okay, I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to work at all. I'm not doing this. I am not doing this. So, um, I'm gonna see if I got the clip for you to see to tell you what happens next. All right, you guys. So I don't know where I left off. You can't tell that I was gone on this video because you know, I had to stop it. But I was on a conference call with two of my brothers. So what I was talking about, I think where I left off was talking about how I accepted this dude as is, gave him a chance, said he needs some help with some things. He didn't start off and saying he needs some help with some things. What he did is he called me. We talked. He told me that he was on parole. He didn't have his high school diploma or GED. He wasn't working. And these are things that are kind of like, whatever. Probably red flags for most people. And just because of soft spots in my heart, I know that everyone can be down and out at some point in time. So I wasn't like, I don't know. I just end up feeling like I can do some things to help him a lot. Um, the thing is today, the reason why I'm making this video in the first place is because I need to just share my experience and get some helpful insight as to how to move forward. I am definitely moving forward, but it's only been, it'll be a week in a couple of days that he's literally been gone. We lived together for the last 2 years, or a little bit more than 2 years. Oh, I think I was gonna get the recording for you, but anyway, I'm not gonna. I'm too right now. I'm not gonna go through all that right now. But he did reach out once he acted crazy like that when he was in the city for Halloween, and he was just. I was just like, okay, I'm not talking to this dude anymore. It was literally like a month later that we were in a relationship, so I wasn't really fully invested like that. But I was very shocked. And when you start talking to somebody for a good while, you kind of like you feel comfortable with them, whatever. So had been up to that point feeling extremely comfortable talking with him, all that kind of stuff, and I liked it. It was just fun, having fun conversations with the dude. And then he started the craziness, like the real version of himself, with the alcoholism came out. Really mean and nasty that day, that night on the phone, and I was just like horrified. Um, so I ended up giving him a break at that point in time because I was like, I'm gonna think this over. So what I did is I gave him the break, right? He called me. I just did not answer him for whatever length of time, and then he leaves me a message on the phone that says, babe, please, like, don't do this to me, blah 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 blah." So I just eventually ended up talking to him the next time that he reached out after that. I'm so like in my head, I'm just like staring out into space because I'm just like still, I'm in a daze. Anyway, to go on further with the relationship that we had, um, so that was in the first month, and then I eventually went and picked him up. Now he lived in one of his family members' homes, which was a huge, huge house. I think the house, not that the value matters, but just to kind of tell you like where he was coming to me from, like where we were, because he's born in, well, it doesn't matter where he was born, but he was raised in um, New York City, in the Lower East Side of Harlem or Manhattan, Lower East Side. Um, and he was the background that he had. It was one where he was always in the streets, hanging out, drinking, smoking weed, whatever. He was that type before he came to the where I live, or close to where I live, like an hour away from where I live is where he ended up going with his other family, with his titi, tío, and primo. So they beautiful, huge, like 500 something $1,000 house, beautiful house, way out in the middle of nowhere. Just I went and picked him up. I met the family, that part of the family. Like he wanted me to meet them, like I probably the first, like right away, pretty much. So I met them. They were really nice to me. They're Puerto Rican, so a lot of times the Puerto Rican, they are very like warm and caring and open, So it was just I felt like at home. I felt at ease. I felt just happy with how that part went. And then shortly, I would say shortly after, we met, um, the family, when I met the family and stuff, I started to feel more at ease and more kind of like ready to pursue a relationship with him. But in my mind, I'm going to be able to help him with some things. Now, the night that I picked him up, I didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't smell any alcohol on him, but he was drunk, and I had no idea. Like, I didn't know. He only, like, the way he acted was he, he didn't want to stop hugging me. He was kissing me, and I was kind of uncomfortable because I wasn't really wanting to go in that direction right away. Oh God, he just insisted, like, and I mean, I've been comfortable with him prior to that, but as far as just like talking and just, like enjoying each other's, conversations, things like that. But as far as like anything physical, I wasn't ready for that. We get back to my place, and oh my God, he just would not stop with the physical touching and kissing and all that stuff. Fast forward, we ended up being intimate way earlier than I anticipated. And, you know, that spiraled, it went from there. Like, it was like the relationship was in full effect. I'm going to probably skip through some things because there's a lot in a period of 4 years. But he ended up being well, an alcoholic is an alcoholic, but some people can drink alcohol a little bit and, they're fine, sociable, whatever. It's just normal. They can be normal. He would drink and he would become extremely violent, um, belligerent, and it was horrifying. Like, I have footage of it because it was so bad that sometimes, like, I didn't when we made an agreement eventually that he wouldn't drink when he was around me. Like, he wouldn't have any alcohol in his body or anything. He wouldn't have consumed any alcohol, or anything like that. And what I ended up discovering is that he was doing that. He would tell me, "Oh no, I haven't drank today," and then I would agree. Okay, I'll come and pick you up, and you can spend the weekend at my place with me, like you would typically do, right? So, but then he got to the point where he would lie to me and tell me, "Oh, I haven't been drinking," blah blah. So when I would notice, I'd be on the highway, like going towards my place, or I'd get home, and then I'd be like, "Wait, you smell like alcohol," whatever. And then I could tell by looking at his face and looking, just see different things that you can tell when someone's under the influence. And I would be pissed. I would be really pissed off, because I don't want to be around that. I have a right to choose. And I told him, like, I don't want to be around you right now because I don't like the way you are when you're drunk. You're mean and angry and violent, and I don't want to be around that. Like, I have a choice. I should have a choice and have a say in if I want to be around somebody like that or not. Like, so if he was already here and I noticed that happen, I would tell him, like, I'm not staying here. I'm not in my own apartment. I'm leaving, not knowing where the heck I was gonna go, because I don't, like, I just don't like go visit people, pop up in people's places and visit. And I'm more like a homebody, so I freaking would just, I was gonna take a drive and go wherever, and then I don't know, I'll come back later or whatever because I don't want to deal with all that shit. The smell, the freaking attitude, the whole thing. So would, he ended up where he would put himself in front of my door so I couldn't get out. He would put his things in front of my door so I couldn't get out. He would just literally lay there and not let me leave. And if he wasn't laying there in front of the door, he would be holding the door shut, staying in front of the door, start screaming and yelling, like, don't leave me, and blah, 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 and just all this crazy shit. And I was just like, wow, like, what the fuck am I doing? And I felt like in the very beginning, initially, that I can't do this shit. Like, what the fuck is this? He would get sober, and then he would be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to act like that. Like, you're a really caring person, and blah, 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 and I love you. and I want you to stay with me, blah, blah, blah. I fell for it each time. And I felt so sad, like knowing that there's things that he needs help with. He needs help with in his life that he needs to, accomplish that he is not going to be able. Well, it's not that he wouldn't be able to, but he hadn't done on his own. He had, I given him my word, like I would definitely help you. Eventually, I probably like a year later, I started drinking with him. My thought in my head was, like maybe if I have a couple drinks with him or something like that, it'll be different. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but literally that's what I did. That's what my frame of mind was. Um, so I would like just have a couple beers or whatever, or have like a glass of wine. I don't know. And then I got to the point where, like, pretty much every day when I would get out of work, I would stop at the store and get something to drink, like beer or some kind of wine or liquor or whatever. And I wanted it every single day, every day. And I thought about it every day. So I would typically go and get like a 6 pack, 12 pack, or get a bottle of whatever. There's a video from the beginning of my YouTube channel, I think 4 years ago or whatever, where we're cooking together, and one where he's doing my curling my hair with rollers, and you guys can check out that video so you can see who he is. The one that's doing my toenails, he's polishing my toenails for me and stuff. In that video, he wasn't drinking, but in the video, the first two ones, he was drinking, and so was I. I drank in one of those videos. I think I like took a sip of beer or whatever, but you can see, like, in the video, it looks like we're getting along good, and we're just like talking junk to each other because that's the way my personality is. I always like to talk junk. I like to laugh. I don't know, whatever. But it wasn't like that. Like, as time progressed, he was just so